Okay, we're going to learn about another method called the trigonometric substitution that's going to allow us to deal with certain types of forms that we might encounter in the integrand. The idea will be that the form itself will not have any trig functions in it, but doing a substitution with trigonometry will allow us to simplify the form. So let's take a look at the forms we might encounter in the integrand. So the first one would be the square root of a constant squared, let's call that constant a, minus x squared. So notice that this form is what we would see in the integral. It has no trig functions in it. However, it will be useful to do a substitution with a trig function. So we're going to let, if we have this form, we're going to let x be a sine theta. And we will change the entire integral to be in terms of theta, integrate, and then finally return back to x at the very end of the problem. If we transform the integral and we let x be a sine theta, we're also going to have to deal with the differential dx. We'll do that in an example. I will also show you in this video why the substitution can be really helpful to us in dealing with this form. The second form that we might encounter, another square root, and this time it's going to be a sum of perfect squares. So a squared plus x squared, where x is still our variable and a is a constant. And if we have this form, we're going to let x be a tangent theta. And then we will transform the entire integral to be in terms of theta. Finally, the third form we might encounter is another difference of perfect squares inside our square root, but this time we'll have x squared minus a constant squared. And if we have this form, we're going to let x be a secant theta. Okay, so let's see why a trigonometric substitution is helpful in handling these square root forms. So let's talk about the substitution rationale. And we're going to talk about the first form, where we have the square root of a squared minus x squared. Okay. Notice that above we said, okay, if you have this form, we're going to let x be a sine theta. Okay, so let's see what happens when we make this substitution. So I'm going to do this in light yellow. When we make the substitution, here's our form. We'll have a squared, but now in place of x, we're going to put in a sine theta, and that expression is going to get squared. So let's try to simplify this. This is going to give us the square root of a squared minus a squared sine squared theta, since everything is getting squared. And it would be really wonderful if we could take things out of the square root. But when we have a difference or a sum, we cannot undo the root. If we had a product, we could. So what we're going to do is change this difference into a product by factoring out a squared from both terms. So if I pull out a squared from both terms, we have a squared times 1 minus sine squared theta. And notice that 1 minus sine squared theta, that is a trigonometric identity. That's the same as cosine squared theta. And so now we have inside the root a product of perfect squares. A squared cosine squared theta, which we can pull out as long as cosine is, well, yeah, we can pull this out and write a cosine theta, assuming that we're in quadrants 1 and 4 where cosine is positive. Otherwise, we would need an absolute value. But for now, let's just leave it like that. What was powerful about what we just did is that we started with a difference of perfect squares inside a root. We cannot take anything out here. But by substituting a trig function and factoring so we could write a product, then we could pull out the square roots of a perfect square to get a simplified form a cosine theta. When we're dealing with an integral, we would then integrate. Of course, we have replaced the dx also, and then in the end, we return back to the original variable of x by returning to our substitution that we started with. I will show you that in subsequent videos, but I really wanted just to explain, at least with one of these cases, why this makes sense, why the substitution makes sense. And I guess finally, before we move to more examples, to some examples, I'm going to remind you of there are two trig identities that will be very useful in this section. And these are the Pythagorean identities, the two that will come up that are really important. One is the one that we just used, that sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is always equal to 1. And we can write that also as sine squared is 1 minus cosine squared, or cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared. And the other one is that tangent squared theta plus 1 equals secant squared theta. This will also come up in the other two substitutions that we have above. So in the next several videos, we're going to do examples and show you why this trig substitution can make things much more doable for us. And it's a great technique to use if we have a square root of a difference or a square root of a sum of perfect squares.